So 9:30 Sunday morning, I'm going to be at church, so I'm going to miss the first, I'd say probably first quarter and a half. I'm going to be missing of this game. Kansas City Chiefs and Miami Dolphins. Obviously, the biggest story from this game is going to be Tyreek Hill playing his old team. Now, this is a technical home game for the Chiefs, so that means they do lose out on one of their home games this season. But it would have been nice to see Tyreek Hill back in Arrowhead. Not going to see that at the very least this year. Something that might be soon to come. Might be something that we end up seeing in the playoffs in the AFC Championship game. We might just have to see it then, or maybe coming down here to Miami. Either way, if the Dolphins and Chiefs are in the AFC Championship game, look, obviously I hope it's at home, but just the fact that the Dolphins gets the AFC Championship game is enough for me. These two teams, even though we just talked about how the Chiefs defense is much improved than we've seen in recent years. Two teams that are very much known for their offenses. Two of the best offensive-minded head coaches in the league with Andy Reid and obviously Mike McDaniel down here in Miami. Love to see all those Mike McDaniel Halloween costumes that we got to see on Halloween. But two teams known for their offense, and it is definitely apparent that the Chiefs are missing out on Tyreek Hill. Now, how Tyreek Hill is playing this year, any team could be much improved with Tyreek Hill, on the team. 61 catches, just over 1,000 yards. Only the fourth receiver in NFL history to crack over that 1,000 yards mark at Week 8. 8 touchdowns, which already surpasses his touchdown total from last year. 126 yards per game. Tyreek Hill has been on fire this year. There has been debate. Who's the MVP? Is it Tua? Is it Tyreek Hill? I lean Tyreek Hill. Yes, obviously, quarterback is the most important position in sports. But the way of who's affecting this team, Tyreek Hill, I believe, has been affecting this team more than Tua has. This offense looks night and day different with both of them off the field. But just today, 2023, who has been more important to the Dolphins' success? It's been Tyreek Hill. If you take one of the two away, I think the Dolphins would be worse missing Tua. But just the value that they brought to the team's success, I think Tyreek Hill has been more important and more valuable for the Dolphins so far this year. Him and Waddle, they've combined for about 1,500 yards. And then you look at the Kansas City Chiefs receiving core, and you got to take 4 or 5 guys to equate the total that just Hill and Waddle. And obviously, most of it's Hill. Travis Kelce, 583 yards, leading receiver, is a tight end. And yes, tight end, it doesn't matter that he's a tight end, he's still a phenomenal player. But again, like we talked about earlier, you need to find that success outside on the perimeter. And they think they have found it with Rashee Rice in recent weeks. It took a little bit to get him going into things, but you kind of expect that with a second-round rookie. Last week against the Broncos, 5 catches, 56 yards. Against the Chargers, 6 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown, 72 yards the previous week against the Broncos. So these last 3 weeks specifically, Rashee Rice has really stepped up as that wide receiver one. I mean, you guys that play fantasy football, I mean, going through the draft process, those first few weeks when you're trying to make trades, you're trying to evaluate, and if you're a good fantasy football player, you're looking at that Chiefs off. You look at teams that have good offense, and we see that with the Kansas City Chiefs, and you just want a piece of it. Obviously, everybody wants Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. Those guys are both usually gone in the first 2 rounds this year in pretty much all redraft fantasy leagues. But the logic with getting just a player from a good offense, fantasy wise, is eventually, or you hope eventually, that they're going to break through. They're going to have a big week just because there's so much opportunity on that offense. There's so many yards to be had. There's so many points to be had that somebody has to score it. And if you look at a Chiefs team that coming into the season did not have a clear-cut wide receiver, that was kind of seen as a positive, like, I can get for a good price fantasy-wise somebody that, he could end up with 500 yards, but he could also end up with 1,200 yards. As of today, I still don't quite 100% with my chest feel that Rashee Rice is that guy. But if anybody is going to be that guy at the wide receiver position for the Kansas City Chiefs, it is Rashee Rice. He is the guy that the Dolphins will have to stop. You're looking past Rashee Rice, Justin Watson is the second leading receiver. He's somebody who is purely a deep threat. Only 12 catches on the season, averaging 22 yards per catch. Everything that Watson does is a deep catch. I'm pretty sure ironically saying that, I'm pretty sure he had a shallow crosser for a catch last week. But all his passes are over the top. MVS, their next wide receiver, same thing, 12 catches. So you're looking at lower volume than we would expect out of some of those guys down the pecking order. Kadarius Toney, only 109 yards and only 1 touchdown. Sky Moore, who again, guys kind of hoped he was going to be the wide receiver one. He still hasn't done much to really back that he was a good second round pick. He looks like a bust. He's only got 27 targets. He only has 14 catches, 168 yards, and a touchdown. This offense needs a wide receiver to break through and be an alpha alongside Travis Kelce. And as of today, if it's going to be somebody, it is Rashee Rice. That is who the Dolphins on offense, on the receiving game outside of Kelce, needs to pay attention to. In the ground game, Isaiah Pacheco is having a quietly good season. 459 yards, 4.3 a carry, 3 touchdowns. Well, yes, that's certainly not earth-shattering. He's probably not going to make the Pro Bowl. He's not amongst the best running backs in the NFL when you look at them on paper. And if you're going down a list of running backs you pick, Isaiah Pacheco's not definitely not top 10 guy, but he's currently sitting at 11th in the NFL in rushing yards with his 459 yards. Ironically, 1 yard less than Devon Achane, who Achane has obviously only played 4 games this year. Really only had significant impacts in 3 of them. Pacheco's played 8, but Pacheco is still very solid and very serviceable running back for this Chiefs offense. And then Patrick Mahomes. Despite the fact that Patrick Mahomes has not had a clear outside weapon to go to, has not had a clear weapon that is not named Travis Kelce, he's still third in the NFL, and likelihood is, unless guys like Jared Goff or Josh Allen have monster games behind him and jump over him, he is likely to be the second leading passer in the NFL once Sunday is done with its games. Kirk Cousins currently at 2, Tua obviously at 1. Without wide receiver, with pretty much just Travis Kelce, he has found himself third in the league in passing yards with just over 2,200, just shy of 2,300. But he is turning the ball over more than he has in recent years. The Chiefs in general have 10 total interceptions. Now, 2 of those have come from Blaine Gabbert. Patrick Mahomes, 15 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Tua has also had himself quite a few interceptions. We see also, Jalen Hurts has turned the ball over a lot. So guys that you don't typically expect to have a lot of turnovers so far in the NFL are. But a lot of those turnovers is because Patrick Mahomes has slightly had to play hero ball and find a way just to fit the ball in when the offense isn't moving down the field as sharply as it has in recent years. He's trying to find that guy. He's trying to make that guy. He's trying to make somebody on his team better and force the ball in where, probably can't do that. But he's still having a very solid season to have the Chiefs currently as the number 1 seed in the AFC. This is a matchup that coming down the schedule, when you take a look at when the Dolphins opened up the season 3-0, when the Chiefs, they obviously had that loss against the Lions opening week, but we knew they'd be solid. When the Dolphins were having their high power offense, especially as Dolphins fans, we were very much excited and looking forward to this game. Tyreek Hill, obviously the main storyline, but Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle makes this offense up to par with the Kansas City Chiefs without having the best wide receiver core that they've had in recent years. If you're just saying pound for pound, whose offense would I rather have? When I say pound for pound, I'm talking looking at head coach, Mike McDaniel, and obviously Andy Reid. Tua, Patrick Mahomes, Devon Achane / Raheem Mostert, Isaiah Pacheco, Rashee Rice, Kadarius Toney, whoever their 2 really truly is, MVS, Tyreek Hill and Waddle, and tight end Durham Smythe and Travis Kelce. It's a lot of boxes that obviously Andy Reid and McDaniel, as great as McDaniel is, I'm still taking Andy Reid. A lot of those boxes feel very clear who it is, and it feels like it alternates. Like I'll go Patrick Mahomes over Tua, I'll go our running backs total, like between the 2 of Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane over Isaiah Pacheco. I'm going our receivers, but I'm clearly going their tight end. So it's about split if you break down the offenses. The offensive line, especially how it's the current situation, I'll definitely go the way of the Dolphins. Defensive line, very close, very close. I'm probably slightly going to the Chiefs, but the Dolphins' defensive line has been much improved. Secondary, assuming Xavier Howard plays, I'm going with the Dolphins. So if you just break it down position group by position group, man, these are two very good teams. These are two, most people would say top 5 teams in the NFL to top 3 teams in the AFC. I'd say Ravens are the best team in football all across the board. Then you have, Dolphins, Chiefs, Bills, Ooh. If I had to go just top 3 in the AFC right now, I'm going Ravens. Man, it's hard. Even though their record's bad, I might even put the Bengals. I'll go Ravens, Dolphins, Bengals, Chiefs as the top 4 teams in the NFL. And it is on a neutral site, so theoretically, by that logic, it should be an easy win. Not easy, but should be a clear win. But it's not. When you have just that solidified top end of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, genius offensive-minded coach, genius quarterback, so much God-given talent. I said I'd never pick against the Dolphins. And I'm not. I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins. 27 to the Chiefs 24. A little less high scoring than maybe some people would expect. I think this defense is going to continue to get better and better every single week. 3 best defensive linemen last week each got a sack in Zeeler, Phillips, and Bradley Chubb. You look on the back end, we saw our best secondary piece in in Jalen Ramsey get his interception. And now we have Xavier Howard and Javon Holland likely coming back. I'm gonna give it to the Dolphins. I'm gonna say that the Chiefs offense has some struggles to move the ball, or they can't put drives together because Patrick Mahomes can't find that guy to give the ball to outside of Travis Kelce. I'm very concerned about what this Chiefs offense is going to do in terms of getting the ball to Travis Kelce and how, as a defense, we're going to stop it, because I couldn't tell you the last time I felt confident in our middle linebacker core. It just has never happened. But I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a good game. I think the crowd over there in Germany is going to be very well entertained. But I am going to go, like I said, with the Miami Dolphins with the 27-24 victory. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys think of that prediction.